day, beautiful people. Welcome once again to your favorite program, our favorite program, The Conversation, coming to you from TV360 here in Lagos, Nigeria. My name is Nelson Ekujumi, and I have here with me in the studio on The Conversation, Comrade Alhaji Razak Kolade Olukoba, popularly called Akio. Comrade Olukoba, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you for joining us on the program once again.
It's a pleasure.
The Conversation, like we all know, is a topical issues program that looks at happenings in Nigeria and in the diaspora. On The Conversation, like I always say, there's no host. The guests, we are both guests, ventilating our opinion on national issues. Top of the bill today, we want to look at the 32nd anniversary of June 12th, which has become our Democracy Day. Like we have said, since that epochal event, the story of the struggle for June 12th and its aftermath cannot be written, and it can never end. I was privileged to be a guest speaker at one of the June 12th celebrations during those days. And I can tell you for free, I got to know of the activities, the role played by many Nigerians to make that day become a reality. Even though people have tried to former administrations under President Olusegun Obasanjo as well as Goodluck Jonathan tried to trivialize that date. In fact, at a point in time, former President Obasanjo was even threatening Nigerians that if we mention any mention of June 12, we amount to, I think, treason or thereabout. But we dared him because that was a struggle we held on to since 1993. Our motto then was that on June 12 we stand.
It's an ungrateful beneficiary because one of the biggest person that benefited from our struggle is actually Obasanjo. The things he suffered was not as a direct result of struggling for anybody. They were personal issues, the usual way he write letter.
Yes,
the way
yes.
he confronted the army then.
Yes.
And they knew what he did to people who confronted him when he was
the head of state.
So they couldn't tolerate him. So they dealt with him by putting him there.
Yes.
So it was not as if it was our struggle that led him there. We fought for him to come out. So it's not new to us what OBJ did, but for Buhari to have done what he did in the recognition, we have to give kudos to him.
No, we can't. But we can. But
from the direction
commend the former President Muhammadu Buhari.
From the direction it's coming from, is very, very commendable. Because there were many of us who had access to power and did not do something as
we did not take advantage.
Yes, outside Lagos has been on it for so long. Lagos were allowed to do rally that day until they also took over.
Comrade Olukoba, the beauty of the June 12th struggle for me was that I was a young boy then. And after that annulment, any day we continuously celebrated June 12th. You remember, a lot of people were deriding us. They will make jokes, you people are wasting your time.
Yes,
June 12 has gone.
That is why today we should see all those people and tell them that you can see that we are not wasting our time. And at our lifetime, that this kind of thing happened. It's one of the biggest achievements. Even our recent pronouncement by the president, I recognize some people. It's also a further
cement our place in history.
That
I think that recognition is not only to those people, it's a recognition of the tenacity
of all of us,
and perseverance of all
of us. And the point being made is just that they said it was the Lagos Axis comrade. I said no, it's turn by turn. The people in Lagos knew that time that if you had left the struggle for them, the image of June 12 will still remain a Lagos affair. Once Lagos moves, Ibadan come very close.
When Lagos sneeze,
that is
the whole country must catch cold.
But the symbolism of it is that in the whole of North Central, Ilorin happens to be the leading light of the process. Then the ABU axis of Kaduna, Seusani, Rafsanjani,
yes, absolutely.
Ilorin were Walibi,
we had
Wali Balogun, and things like that. Ibadan, Erubami and the
Erubami.
Joe Oke was even in Ilorin that time.
Okay,
we were the only one. We were always
yes.
constantly together igniting the Ilorin forces that time. So, by and large, it's an inspiration for the young ones to say no to any incident that will lead to June
Do
12th.
Kwame, I think if you look at the history of the struggle of June 12th, I think as a people, we have not done justice to the memory of that event because we seem to have very few documentary.
Yes.
A lot of our young ones need to go and read and learn how a people united for a just cause. It wasn't about emotions.
Yes.
An election took place.
Yes.
Somebody won. The military junta led by dictator Babangida annulled it against the provisions of the law.
Yes.
He knew he didn't have the powers.
And in unison.
It was the same strategy. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo he told former President Muhammadu Buhari when we conducted 20, and he told him that he should cancel that election. That tells you the mind, and we must tell the young ones, the annulment of June 12th cannot be divorced from the machinations of people like General Olusegun Obasanjo, because he was the one that went to Babangida and advised him on interim government.
Yes,
he wanted to become the head of the interim government, but Babangida outsmarted him.
Yes.
So when Obasanjo comes and talk about democracy, should I say, I'm pleasantly annoyed.
You see, when they say the man is not a good man, say, OBJ is intelligent and brilliant, but negatively intelligent.
Absolutely.
Because if you look at what OBJ has been doing all his life, he has always been against the people. And I like what you have said, that the young ones need to reroute their journey in life.
Yes.
They should know who their role model is. At our time, under no guise will we ever follow Obasanjo.
It's impossible.
Even if you believe that he's a Democrat, under no guise will we
ever look at
listen.
Once anybody comes out, we interrogate your past.
Yes,
it is not about your sweet words.
So because the question of people are hungry will not bind us together. I will not forget where you are coming from. We will not.
No, even when somebody says we are hungry, the question I used to ask, did hunger just originate today or yesterday? Hunger has been with man from the creation of humanity. And it will also be with us till the end of the world.
And our own peculiar hunger, what led to it? That's the kind of interrogation I think we are talking about.
Yes.
That when we fought for anti-sharp riots,
yes,
we were not earning salary that time.
We were all students.
So it is not even our business.
Yes.
But we knew that the working class that time, they are in trouble.
Yes, and because our parents were working class.
We were working at, and the future is going to be in trouble for what? By that time we'll have grown up that time. So we took a decision. That kind of interrogation and foresight in our struggle is what we're appealing to the young ones to have. Such that today, when we talk about June 12th, we say, is it not the day Magic Johnson won the best? I said, June 12th, Magic Johnson, what's it? So, and that is why it's very, 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 very important. Because we keep happening on the young ones. What happened today? We were their age.
Oh, we were the leading lights of the struggle.
Of the struggle. So, nobody educated. We just knew that this thing has to be done.
In fact,
and it was universal all over the country.
I think a lot of us need to write a book.
No,
because so many books have been written.
The Learning Collective.
And so many will be written.
The Learning Collective, we are writing now.
Yes, we need to, because a lot of persons will come out.
Fonsha Mojuba, Akinyabo Sanyin, Taiwo Titolaye, and some others were 2 weeks to be killed by Abacha in detention. 2 weeks, including Mayegun.
As young boys, as not men then, we're all boys.
Almost teenagers.
Yes, teenagers.
In 20s.
Yes, when they are 20s now.
If you pass through all this trauma, and you see someone today saying that what did you contribute to struggle? You don't know whether you should be demoralized. You don't know whether you should. Who is your history teacher?
I even put up a post recently on my Facebook page. I said, some of us that are here today talking, it is by God's grace that we are alive. Yes. A lot of our mates we went under due to military extrajudicial
when we confronted Abacha Babangida on Tomiland Bridge. A lot of people were killed that day. Yes, it was Abacha.
It was Abacha now. Abacha. Yes, on Tomiland Bridge and Ikorodu Road.
And there was a guy that always comes to June 12 celebration, he has one leg.
Yeah, of course.
That was where he
we
sustained.
call him June 12 now.
June 12. That is where he sustained.
That's where he sustained. One of his leg was
and
amputated.
was amputated till today.
Not because he went to steal
I
or had an
know
accident,
many
but
of
because
my
of June
friends
12.
that we went out together, 8 of us, only 4 came back alive.
Come on, look
One
over.
of them is Dr.
Have you
Tuladi that we are alive
forgotten
today.
during those days where you stand with somebody in a protest and before you know the person will hit the
Yes,
ground
and he's dead.
and he's dead and you're like,
And in detention, there were so many psychological trauma they did to us. They did so many things to fellow soldiers, just to demoralize us. We were not demoralized.
we were not.
So today, if anybody is talking about who defended democracy, and you think it's by 10-day hunger, 10-day anger,
or end bad governance protest.
That's why you want to
That's your own
a definition of radicalism. No, that means there's something wrong. So we are not saying we should take our footstep, but you should be meticulous in the way you
interrogate issues.
And many of our age mates are with you today. They are just hypocrites. Because if they are not hypocrites, they will tell you that struggle needs mentorship.
Of course.
And the way you are going, it's not the struggle.
That's
You can't throw away a government completely and say on the strength of if I abuse government today, that's radicalism.
You know, this morning I was on a radio program, on a TV program, sorry, and I was being interviewed, and the presenter introduced me as an activist. I wonder. I said, please, I'm not an activist in the modern day definition of activism. Activism has become synonymous with anarchism.
Yes, so.
For you to become an activist today, to be described as when you abuse, attack, insult, call for destruction.
And now to pull government down.
Yes, not only government, you pull anybody down.
Yes, that's not
activism easy. The way we were taught, you identify a problem, you prefer a solution. Activism is not we should burn down the whole country. Oh, they have failed us. We are hungry. That is
people marry their bad upbringing.
Yes.
But their bad upbringing.
Their lack of parenting.
And bring it to the public.
Bring it to the public. And people are celebrating them.
And people call it activism.
Activism.
You see 90% of people saying all these things. If you look at their private life, they are not people you can sit down and talk with reasonably.
You can't drink water with them. Some of these people call themselves activists.
Reasonably.
Go and check their history. They don't have a home.
And many of our age men
they don't have a family.
Yes, so. And that is the anger that is bottled
up. So somebody who is frustrated will now come out and be abusing everybody, abusing government, and you're
this
saying
anger is talking about,
and
this anger they are talking about is no longer created by the government in their life. It's not created by mismanagement, by their parents.
Even some of them, when we were in school, I remember some of them were sent to school to come and study. But before you know, they are in another campus.
Doing anything, no future ambition.
At the end of the day, their parents are sending money to them. Then when they are rusticated,
that's the children of people who are doing activism today.
They are the
children of people
they are the activists today, making all the noise all over the place.
So June 12th is not a thing that we'll talk about. One boy that does not understand what is called activism or radicalism will define it to us. What's that June 12th? What did you do to yourself? What did you do to
That's why I said we have not done well. We need to have a lot of materials.
Yes, if we do a chronicle of what our struggle is, some of them will not see. I don't want to do struggle. If this is what you are part of.
And also, Comrade Okoba, I think government needs to, under June 12 coalition, late Baba Mojola, who was one of the leading lights,
of our
brought up the idea of a June 12 resource center. That center should be a department in our tertiary institutions on democratic struggle in Nigeria as a template.
It should become a political manifesto for Nigeria itself.
Because June 12 is like the struggle against apartheid in South Africa.
That's what they did in South Africa.
Yes.
The struggle against apartheid has become a manifesto in the academic institutions.
Yes, we need to have it in our we need to have it in our academic
If you don't do that, definition of struggle to you, like you have said, is something else. Just insult your parent is radicalism.
You just need to open a TikTok page or other social media handle, and you'll be saying things that you cannot back up with evidence.
When I say certain documentary, but I don't want to start mentioning him. One young man, if I see what he does, people clap for him, say this is wrong. You can't do anything, this kind of thing anywhere in the world. Because today, there's a limit to which we can say we want to do our activity that is offensive to the public.
Yes, now.
Is that public
sensibility
is important.
Is key.
You will not say, which part of the world is that? It's things are not changing. Sun is still rising in the west, is setting in the east, in the east and setting in the west. The rain is still falling. People still grow tall. People don't grow up and grow shorter again. People who are young grow older. People grow up and die.
People grow beards when they get old. They become weak.
Yes, we see it with our mouth. We
Not
breathe with our nose. We see with our eyes. So what is changing? It's our inquisition into nature that is bringing calamity. You cannot now translate that to the fact that you should not learn how to greet your parents again. You should be looking for the best way to pull your government down. Today, if ABC is no longer in power, it is PDP. The same way they are supporting other party to bring down APC is the way they be supporting that government to bring down government. Your definition of struggle is not to crack government. It's not to run our society.
Do they even understand what government is?
That is it. That is why this political education, which I kept upping up, is important for all of us.
No, I agree.
Very, very,
very,
very
important. We need political education. If we can have a 30-minute program on political education,
I can't go to the NSAS report because there will be chaos. I can't go there. I like the courage for you to go there. The lies people were telling there, all short of terrible lies. And
in fact, they had a preconceived agenda.
In fact, I really commend you for going there.
I wrote a book on it. I'm going to launch the book.
Very good. For you to sit down and listen to all those lies. And people ask me to do that, and the people they buried. I say, where are the people?
Where? And you even before we quickly round up, you know one funny thing about it.
That struggle is anarchism. It's not a struggle.
A lady who is a journalist who was seated beside me. A woman came from Ibadan and said she has been looking for her son for the last 10 years. You know, NSAS struggle was about the atrocities of the unit of the Nigerian Police Force called Special Anti-Robbery Squad. So the Lagos State government set up its own commission of inquiry, just like every other state, according to the
So if you are looking for your son missing in Ibadan,
no,
it is Lagos.
No, the woman said it was the son was picked up by SARS from Lagos.
Okay.
So it falls within the purview of the Lagos Commission.
That's correct. That's
so
correct.
The woman said my son was picked up in 2012. You know, the panel sat in 2020 to 2021. And the woman said, I have not seen him. The lady beside me, who is a journalist who was writing the report, she now said, the woman said, my son is dead. I said, hey, stop that. She didn't say the son is dead. She said he's missing. There's a difference between when you say somebody...
There's a probability that he's still in...
He's still alive, maybe in detention. And if, as a journalist, you say somebody is dead, what are the facts that determines the death of somebody? Do you have the dead body? Do you have the death? The mother said, I'm looking for my son. So how does I'm looking for my son becomes, the woman said, my son is dead?
This challenge is not career. Doctors who want to become doctors who are young these days will not doctor themselves very well. Lawyers among the young people will not go and lawyer them. So journalists too will not listen to lecturers. They prove to know more than the people.
And if we are talking, look at that type of information error. Somebody will now tell me is the government. Is it the government that says you should not know the difference between missing and dead? So we have a lot of
our struggle cannot be bastardized.
And we will not allow it.
We commend the president for
what
he has done.
God has given us life.
And we particularly commend all the governors of Lagos State for making Lagos available.
Yes, Lagos was the springboard.
Including the current governor.
Of June 12.
Including the current governor, because if the current governor is also tied to it, all those symbolic celebrations will be missing.
Yes. Well, Komilokoba, I want to thank you very much. We've had a beautiful conversation on the June 12 struggle. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go on a short break. We'll be right back. Please continue to watch the conversation coming to you from TV 360 here in Lagos, Nigeria. We'll be right back.